So this is what I'm gonna say as far as the Israel-Palestine situation. First and foremost, I just find it funny how everybody want to talk about this because the media is telling you to talk about it. That's like the hot thing to talk about. But this is a conflict that's been going on nonstop for decades now. But y'all only seem to care when it's the cool thing to do. All I'm saying is when it's not in the news cycle anymore, keep talking about it since you care so much. The second thing I find funny to me is people are picking a side based off of what their political affiliation is telling them to do. Half of y'all don't even know why. Now, for the record, let me just make myself clear. I'm not anti-Israel and I'm not anti-Palestine. I'm pro-peace. I'm pro-both. Y'all ever thought of that? Why can't they both be there? Why can't we find a mutual agreement for both people? That's all I'm saying. Now, me being a twin, let me use this analogy. If, when we were kids, let's say if our mom came home with 2 Happy Meals, would it make sense if she made us fight or compete to see who's going to get both? Why can't I get one, he get one? Why not? Why can't we share? You see what I'm saying? There's enough food to go around for both of us. There's plenty of land for both people. You see what I'm saying? Y'all ever thought of that? Now, you got these anti-Zionists that are saying that these Israelis, they weren't even there to begin with. They're a bunch of Europeans and they're just stealing land or whatever the case is. Now, all I can say is this. Can you prove that they weren't there? Because if that region has a history of Jews there, then what happened to them? And I don't want anybody saying that, Africans, black people were the real Jews. I don't want to hear none of that because I'm just going to delete your comment and block you. I don't want to hear that. Okay? A lot of y'all just self-hating that's saying that nonsense anyway. All I'm saying is, if Hebrew and Arabic are both Semitic languages that are very similar in vernacular, I think it's safe to assume that both languages developed in somewhat proximity. So what happened to the Jews? Now I hear this analogy that's been going around, talking about they're comparing it to the Europeans that came to America and wiped the Native Americans off their land and stole their land. All right, that's great, but I see it more like this. I see it more like the Africans that were taken from Africa and dispersed throughout the Americas, because not only United States of America had a history of slavery. I'm just saying, a lot of y'all still don't get that. But anyway, and if all of us said we want to go back to our homeland, the only difference is, where do we pinpoint? What specific place do we all go? Because nobody had a problem with Ludacris getting Ghanaian citizenship. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if they were dispersed out of their homeland and were dispersed throughout Europe and were persecuted, and all they're saying is we want to go back to where we came from, I don't see a problem with that. Now, the only problem I do have is telling a bunch of people that's been there, hey, get out of here. We want all of it. You know what I'm saying? Because the Palestinians are losing more and more land as time goes on. I don't think it's fair. Both people groups are similar in population, so I don't see why we can't come up to a reasonable agreement for both. Now, what I feel is a solution, a reasonable, viable solution, I'm going to call this the Santana-Perez Agreement. Okay? Now, what the Santana-Perez Agreement states is, in a nutshell, since Jerusalem is the hot button topic, so to speak, that's what's being fought over, in a nutshell. Jerusalem is a holy city. It has ties to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Then make Tel Aviv-Yafo the capital of Israel, and make Gaza City the capital of Palestine, and make Jerusalem like a neutral site. Maybe something like the Vatican or something like that, some kind of neutral city, or I don't know, like a buffer zone or something like that. Maybe not necessarily, but You know what I mean? Or basically how it is already being, you know, administered almost, is East and West Jerusalem. You know what I mean? One goes to Palestine, one goes to Israel, and call it a day. Because that's where a lot of the conflict is coming from, is Jerusalem. Just move both capitals and call it a day. All I'm saying is, I'm pro-peace. I don't want nobody sitting there reporting this video and saying this and I'm anti this and I'm anti that. No, I'm pro both. I've met Palestinians, I've met Jews, both wonderful people, very peaceful people, humble people, beautiful women, great cultures, and I don't feel like it's fair that a bunch of innocent lives are being taken. Especially these young kids. They don't deserve that. They ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, aside from the powers that be and the higher-ups and the politics, I ain't worried about that. I ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the innocent civilians that just want to live. Both people groups have a right to live. Why not? All I can say is this. For those of y'all that lean left, okay, that are more liberal, that are all about, you know, supporting the minority and the you know, the little guy, so to speak. If Jews are the minority in that region, this is a region that's overwhelmingly dominated by Arabs, then why wouldn't you support the Jews? Now, that's not to say, you know, the Palestinians are the ones that are, you know, that have obviously higher casualties. They're losing more land. So yeah, I can understand why you support the Palestinians, but shouldn't you support the Jews too, using liberal logic? And it's the same the other way around, as far as conservatives. If conservatives are more about nationalism and self-determination, then why would you pick one over the other? These are two groups of people that, you know, feel that they have the right to be there. Why would you pick one over the other? Because there's a bunch of evangelicals that think that they're going to get cool points with God if they side with the Jews. And let me not just, I'm not even going to go there as far as, you know what I mean, thinking that, you know, certain people rocking with you. Let's just leave it at that. All I'm saying is stop picking a side, man. I'm pro both. I'm not anti either. I support both. Peace in the Middle East.